Hello photographers, welcome to week 7 of Quarantine Photo. This week we've got 3 new challenges with a different focus. Thank you so much for your submissions last week. The window portraits were really sweet. I noted only a few of you actually used yourself for that prompt. Some DIY wow that was really cool too. And it was nice to see some of those home kind of shooting studios with you got close kind of product photography, some really moody shots and some really bright shots. So that was great to see. This week, 3 new prompts. All right, let's dig into them. There's a new focus that we're going to be bringing a thread over the next few weeks, and that's editing. All right, so let's talk about that. So the 3 are before and after. Okay, so taking a shot and then editing it and after and see the difference. Another editing one is #mood. And the third one is what is it? All right. So these are taken from suggestions from you and from your check-in form. We started to collect some of that information of suggestions of shooting for the coming weeks. So we're going to be sprinkling those in over the next few weeks too. So what is it? We've done it before. We did it for the aperture. There's a shooting challenge on Classroom from before. That's getting really close and doing some macro shots. All right, so let's talk about those 3. Okay, as always, you're aiming to shoot all 3 challenges, all right? And if you're looking for, say, 1 shot for each of the 3, you're aiming for that 10-to-1 ratio, okay? And that means like take 10 shots if you're aiming to get 1. That way you have 10 to pick from, that kind of thing. So you should have, at a minimum, in your all shots album, you should have 30 shots for the 3 challenges you got. Okay, so that's kind of like a good kind of like ballpark. There we go. For that. All right. So, and there's a creative process. I am going to drop this on Monday. I know it's a long weekend, weird long weekend, because there's no distinction between weekend and weekday in a weird way anyway, but anyway, so feel free to read this on Monday or wait till Tuesday. It's totally up to you. And we're going to go through and looking at the weather. If you're thinking about getting outside to shoot, we've got Wednesday at the moment. This is subject to change, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are supposed to be really good days. Monday, Tuesday, rainy. Okay, so think about that in terms of like if you're doing some outside shooting. And let's get into the 3 prompts. So the ideas behind the prompt, the main one for the week is mood. All right, so what you're aiming for is to do an edit that really gets a mood. All right, so there are lots of kind of great ideas for how to go about that. To use photo editing to enhance mood, you want to alter color, you could collage, you could work with your contrast and things like that. My face here is covering some of the suggested programs. Adobe Lightroom has a great app that's free for iOS and Google Play, so I've linked there. There's some other ones that are free too. GIMP, Pixlr, you could use Visco for the like image editing properties as opposed to the sharing properties of it. There's one that I don't know as well called Be Funky. I would just suggest like taking those and tutorials for GIMP or editing mood or something like that, and do that. If you've got Photoshop, go to town. If you have Lightroom on your desktop, you can go to town and use whatever you have at your disposal. Okay, the before and after, it's all about editing, so you really want to show making the use of the editing tool to get playful, get funky, change things up so you really have like a before and after. It'd be really cool if you did like a split screen, so like half the image was a before and half the image was after, but I'll leave that kind of in your creative court. And then what is it? It's those super macro shots, if you remember doing those, to the point that you're not even sure what we're looking at. We did that once before. We're going to try that again because we got that request from a couple of you to get back into some macro shots. So can you control the light and the shadow and the camera angle to really show us something we don't normally see? And so let's go through some examples. So here's some examples of like getting that mood. And there in the bottom one, you can really see a before and after, and that kind of thing, changing the color tones to the blues to make those edits. And here's a couple great tutorials. These are for Lightroom. They're edits that you can do on the Lightroom app. Right, so you got a moody dark edit, you got a moody rich tone edit, and these are great. I just discovered them this week looking for tutorials for you guys. The Lightroom app is amazing. You can shoot in RAW using your phone, and there's lots of really good edits and some presets and all that kind of stuff. So I really suggest taking a look at that app. It's pretty sweet if you're shooting with your mobile, your cell phone. Here's some before and afters. Here's Brenda Wolfill, who's huge on YouTube and whatnot. And you've got some really, really nice befores and afters to kind of demonstrate what we're talking about in terms of the befores and afters. And the what is it's the really, really close-ups of things around. We shot it around the school, so everyone kind of knew, but now you have like the world to shoot what is it, so that we're gonna be doing those kind of what is it's really close-ups, trying to get as close as possible. If you're shooting with a cell phone, you can get quite close. If you're working with a DSLR, depends on the limitations of your DSLR, but you can always crop in afterwards if you're not getting close enough that you hope, because you don't have like a macro lens on your camera, that kind of thing. Here's some more stuff on the Lightroom app that I talked about already, and the new Google Photos album. Thank you so much for those of you who did hop onto that shared album and comment and things like that from last week. That was really nice to see you giving others feedback like that. Let's keep that going. All right. So I got kind of feedback from you that most of you prefer the Google Photos shared album as a way to communicate and collaborate with your fellow photographers. So I think we're going to focus on that moving forward as opposed to the Google Plus. Google Plus will still exist and you're still welcome to use it. But in terms of our kind of giving feedback to each other, we're going to focus in on the Google shared album. All right. And if you do find a tutorial that you found really useful, please share it on the screen. Share the love. Say, I found this really cool pixeler edit and that kind of thing. And if you have tutorials that you found on YouTube that you think would be useful for others, if you could share those, that would be amazing. All right, that's it for this week. Okay, same process. The challenges are due at the end of the week. Can't wait to see what you're coming up with. Let's dig into some editing over the next few weeks. All right, take care, artsies.